Good afternoon, guys. Danyelle here from Transcendence to the Truth. Coming to you from the beautiful park, actually. While my kids play, I felt a little bit inspired to jump online. I've actually been off socials for like 24 hours, maybe 48, which for me is super relieving and relaxing. I think it's really important to jump offline, and I still don't have Facebook or Messenger, so if you have been messaging me and I haven't been responding, that is why. To reconnect and just observe life and just be a little bit more present in life as it is. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to jump on. If you're on, please click a 1 for now and a 2 for the replay. Where you're watching from, tell me how this beautiful Thursday is treating you and what you're grateful for today. I basically wanted to talk about something that came up into my own awareness yesterday that I was actually can't believe how much I mind fucked myself, really, which is probably the biggest challenge in enlightenment and spirituality. Is we don't realize how much our mind and our ego plays tricks on us and denies us of the truth and talks us and distracts us, and the thoughts that go on in our head, and what we can convince ourselves of and what we can deny ourselves of, that actually prevent us from seeing the truth that we live in an illusion, and that everything that we're creating in our life is purely from our own mind's perspective, and what we need to experience, or what we've chosen to experience to learn the lessons, to grow and to remember. And you can be going on this path for, years, and our minds still trick us constantly. So when you sometimes have these recognitions of where you've been tricking yourself or confusing yourself, sometimes it can be, it's actually quite funny. I think that most of enlightenment and consciousness is actually very amusing, and if you're on this journey and you're finding that you're choosing pain, trauma and drama, then you're probably going into the heaviness of spirituality rather than the lightness. So all of that murky, yucky, kind of heavy stuff is not what source energy and universal truth is about. It's actually about being the lightness and letting go and surrendering. So yesterday, basically, I randomly got an appointment for my tattoo. I I had my tattoo artist called me up and was like, "Hey, I've got a 3-hour spot. Do you want to take it?" I'm like, so I always ask myself, will this create more in my life, right? So I make choices in flow with the universe, and whether or not that's an expansive energy, an expansive choice for whatever needs to show up, right? So if you're following the lightness and the expansion, doesn't always mean it's going to be an awesome experience, okay? So that is something to be very mindful of. You will get exactly what you need at the time. So if you've made a demand of yourself to become more conscious, aware and enlighten and actually uncover the truth, which is what, once you make that demand of yourself, it will unravel a lot faster than you think's possible, because you've actually chosen and you've put that discipline into, I am going to create this in my life, and that's it. There's no ifs, buts about it. I am going to reach consciousness or enlightenment, and I've chosen that. If you haven't made that demand of yourself and you're still toing and froing, then you'll find that the process can be a lot slower. When you truly decide that you're going to let go of what you think and believe and know, and you're willing to let it go, you can just wake up overnight. But unfortunately, most of us, our minds fuck us over. And that's literally what they do. We fuck ourselves over because we're not willing to let go of everything that we've believed is true, whether that's, you know, jobs, family, love, the belief systems of right and wrong, duality. So yeah, basically I was like, okay, it's a more expansive choice to go in and have this tattoo, and I didn't even really know what I was going to do. I'm actually booked in for next week to do what I had planned to do, and it wasn't flowing. When we got there, we couldn't decide on a design that we were both mutually happy with. So it was like, all right, well, we're going to leave that space for that to unfold at a later date. And at the moment, we're going to just do what's around that space. So the background, I guess. And, you know, that was actually like, okay, all right, cool. But what are we going to put there? And so I'm like, you know, you're going to be tattooing something on me for life. What are you going to put on me? And it's like, do you have trust and faith in the universe? Oh, yes, I have trust and faith in the universe, right? So for me, this has been a lot in my own personal life, is trusting the universe, letting go of control, right? So letting go of control and having trust and faith. And basically, I had to completely surrender into this and let go of control and trust in the process and let it flow and unfold as it's designed, because the universe will have a better plan than what we do. The universe, you know, what you're asking for, the universe will give it to you, and it will give it to you in ways that you don't expect it. And sometimes if you're living in alignment, you'll get things that are so much more amazing and limitless in potential than what they would be if you planned it. Like you can't plan this shit. So basically it was like, all right, surrender. That's what I had to do, is let it go. And this is like the number one tool, I think, in consciousness and spirituality, is learning to let it go. You know, let go of resentments, let go of that anxiety or anger or fear, or let go of the resistance that you have to life in every situation that you've got at the time, and trust and let it unfold. Trust that this is exactly the experience you need to have at exactly the right time. And I know it's so much harder said than done, but it's really just like, okay, I'm going to keep letting go, because control will not create what you want to create, and all of the other energies are contracted, and they are resist and react, or they're fight, flight, freeze. So it's like, okay, I've just got to let it go. It doesn't matter what it is and what it's made me feel. For me to have my inner being be in alignment, I got to let it go, because our inner being is purely just like lightness of energy, right? So as I'm letting it go and surrendering to the process, basically we did my elbow, and I won't explain the whole experience, but it was magical, and it was exactly what I needed right at that time, right? But the amount of pain that I had over my elbow was enough to make me start thinking, I hate you, right? So I'm thinking I hate you and saying I hate you while he's tattooing my elbow. And then it's like in my head I've gone, but if you're hating outside of yourself, you still hate yourself, right? And I'm like, whoa, mind blown, like a mind blown moment, because the amount of times I've asked myself, do you truly love yourself? Yes, I do. And I truly love myself. But I had not acknowledged the suppressed emotion of hating myself still, right? So yeah, I do love myself, but I also fucking hate myself. And it was like, whoa. And that's where duality and having that understanding of without pain, you can't have love. And, you know, without feeling it and acknowledging it and integrating it and understanding that they are all, we are all everything. And like, we are everything, all inclusive. So anything that you hate in the world, you hate within yourself. Anything that you love, anything that annoys you, absolutely everything that's outside of self is a part of you. And for me to realize that I had been loving myself but denying the fact that I hate myself is a massive block. Like, that's a block to me growing and being more enlightened, because I'm denying a part of myself and I haven't actually acknowledged it to bring it up and be like, wow, okay, I still hate myself. Right, okay, what am I going to do with that? Am I going to look at what areas, or am I just going to surrender it to source? And you can choose just to surrender it to source energy and release that block. But it's a choice, and you have to really be willing to let it go. And sometimes you can let it go in one moment, and other times it will take some time to release it over different layers. And it's everyone's individual choice as to how quickly we do it, how long we hold on to it, how long we decide that we, that we're right, and that everything in our experience, we go into the wrongness and the rightness of things and why it is, and we add significance, and we do all of these different things that humans do, rather than just seeing that, everything up until this point was literally an experience, and we can choose to just let it all go to find that peace within, and that clarity. So, yeah. Look at some of those things. Look at some of those things. If you're hating yourself, then how can you balance out the love, and like, how can you surrender that? It's the same with what we call forgiveness. I actually watched this amazing thing on YouTube this morning that I found it really interesting, because I pulled a couple of cards this morning around forgiveness, and I was like, yeah, I've got a couple of people I still have, like, I've held on to some stuff. Mainly from them, but also a couple for what I've done to them. And this video basically explained exactly what I know. You have to forgive yourself, you have to go into the wrong and the right of this reality and make yourself wrong for your choices. And you have to go into judgment, you have to go into shame, you have to go into guilt, you have to go into blame. And you have to go into a victim mindset to even feel the condemnation to forgive. Like, source energy and universal energy in our inner being doesn't do that, right? We are just unconditionally loving, and we know that every mistake, every bit of contrast, every moment that we have that maybe isn't 100% on track of what we would have liked to have created teaches us a deeper understanding if we let it. So there's no wrongness in that. You don't have to forgive yourself for that. You just have to see the lesson, see the awareness, and let it go. Surrender it. So yeah, I'll show you my tattoo now. Just so that you know what I was talking about. It's a little bit, wait, rotate. What's going on? There we go. I don't know. I can't see. I've got like sun in my eyes. So I just got that extra let it go. It's very flowy, actually, so I think it does actually represent letting go of control, the flow of the universe. So pretty happy with that. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Any questions below, comments, please pop them down below if you love seeing my content. And what I have to share with you all, then please follow first, share these videos, and tag with anyone that you know may appreciate it. All right, I love you all. Mwah. Have a beautiful Thursday.